initial shooting impressions of the Kel-Tec. Take two. Nutnfancy talking about multi-tools again, and I don't know where I'm going with this. Welcome to Nutnfancy's review of the outstanding subcompact blah 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 can't talk state that when you go to a store, P226 armed with an M6 oh my goodness.
Guy has less call waiting.
Well, let's get people who haven't asked a question before.
Yeah, let's get some new blood, baby.
Okay, somebody who hasn't asked a question, if Christiana wants to call back in, Poor Man LC. I'm hesitant to actually plug this back in because it's just going to be like crazy. Here's Shagalicious is on here. Shagalicious. Hello, Shagalicious. Hello. You're on with Nutnfancy Shagalicious. Are you there? Hey, how old are you? Where are you calling from? Dang. Look at that knife. Shagalicious, how old are you? Where are you calling from? I'm calling from Indiana. Where in Indiana? Where in Indiana? Wow, cool, dude. Indy 500. That's all I know. Okay, continue. You're on with Nutnfancy. Go for it. Go ahead, dude. What's your pick on that carrier 445?
Are you talking about the 1911, carrying a 1911?
Hey, turn down your website, dude. Hey, turn down your website, Shagalicious.
Okay, I'll have to ask you, Shag, are you going to be carrying this concealed or an open carry? Technical difficulty.
My script, go ahead.
Are you going to be carrying it concealed or open carry? Hello?
Shag? Yeah, you got to turn down that website. It's going to freak you out, dude.
Brain hemorrhage.
Okay, can you hear us now? Go ahead. Ask your question again.
Oh, okay.
Not a carry.
Okay, got it. The question is the best pick for concealed 45. Wow, that's a tough one to answer because there's so many good choices. Springfield has a number of them that are outstanding. You know, I don't know, Colt. Are you a Colt fan?
I like the Kimbers.
Kimber is a favorite of mine. It has been for a long time. I've said it as much in my review videos. I don't know if I can tell you one because there are so many. If I do go concealed carry 45, I will go aluminum frame, and I will go with probably a 5-round mag capacity. I'll make it as small as I can, and then make sure that it's reliable. And if you stick to the brands that I just mentioned, it probably will be. Then you can go astronomical with your 1911s. In other words, cost-wise. And I don't know if these manufacturers like Les Baer or any of those, they probably do concealed carry. I'd have to look at their catalog. But you can really spend a lot of money on a 1911. An outlandish amount. More than the gun is really worth, in my opinion. Springfield and Kimber are my top two recommendations. Go look at their concealed carry options. Kimber has a wonderful line. Several aluminum frame guns that are outstanding. And you would not go wrong getting that.
You know, before you go back to the call, I got to tell you, we have an intern, a girl who's been on the show, and her name was Kimber. And she was the most annoying person that's ever been an intern here. That's why he's laughing. She's named after a gun. I love it. Continue.
Kimber, okay. Annoying intern, Kimber. I may roll that into a review in the future.
Shagalicious, continue. I interrupted you.
Oh, I forgot Paraordnance. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have mentioned them. That's a great choice. Paraordnance is excellent. And Paraordnance has done wonders in the field of, as far as I know, again, there's so much to know about the subject, but their quality level has increased over the last decade tremendously.
I tried to pick it up after. I thought it was
they had a period where their guns were not good. In the mid-90s, I would never own a Paraordnance. That's not the case anymore. So, yeah, roll that into the list I just gave you. Sorry, I forgot that one.
Dude, do you know how many people are in our chat room right now?
How many?
4.
Like, yeah, 4 times. There's 150 people in there right now still.
Right on, man.
Sounds close.
Unbelievable. You're incredible, man. I mean,
I
I'll
ain't
keep going
nothing.
as long as you want to keep going. You just let me know when you're done, and we got Brent.
I'll probably give it 15 more minutes.
Good job. Hey, Brent, you're on with Nutnfancy and Tactical Doodle. And what time is it where you are? It must be pretty late, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quarter to midnight here.
Yeah. What time is it? Time is it where you guys are? Like 1 in the morning? Nothing.
No, we're in the same time zone right now. We're in Mountain Standard Time, so 11:43 p.m.
Okay, go ahead, Brent. You've been calling for a long time.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, man, I'm a big fan of your show. You do a great job.
Peace, brother. Thanks for the love. I sure appreciate it. Can't and won't do it without you.
By the way, pardon Alex. He's showing pizza in front of the camera, and I can't control him. Go ahead.
I'm 22 years old, and I'm out of Utah here, and we've got some pretty great concealed carry laws as far as the schools go. You know, people can be carried in public schools. I was just curious what your thoughts were on why other states with concealed carry have this mentality that the civilian sheepdog can be trusted everywhere but schools.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. The question is, civilian sheepdog or responsible citizen who's armed with a legal concealed carry permit, why can he not go into schools? To answer that question, I'll say one word: Columbine. You know, how would a Columbine turned out had there been some armed civilians there? Now, the anti-gun, anti-self-defense types, as I like to call them, will say, well, that wouldn't assure any different outcome. Oh, really? So if what I will say to that is Fairchild Air Force Base, 1994, when Dean, or whatever that guy's name, Wahlberg, when he cut loose with the MAC-9 and killed all those people at the hospital, what ended that mass shooting at Fairchild 94 up in Washington State near Spokane? What ended it was a security policeman with an M9 dropping to his knee and making a 75-yard headshot on the bad guy and killing him. Okay, so another gun ended it. So anytime someone says, well, you know, Virginia Tech wouldn't have turned out any differently, I say, yeah, you think? It very well could have. You know, just like in, what was it, Sea Springs with the church shooting, we had a security guard, a concealed carry permit holder, and she shot that guy that started doing a mass shooting right there in the church. So I'm against it. I think somehow saying that, hey, you can carry your gun everywhere except in public schools, and saying that that's going to make society safer is a bunch of garbage. It won't. The guys you need to worry about are the guys that don't have the concealed carry permits. It's the guys that will always be armed. It's the wolves of society. They will go anywhere they want. And all you do by saying you can't carry a gun here in the mall, at the school, at the university, is you create a free fire zone for the bad guy. And he knows that there's the chances of anybody pulling out a gun and ending his bad day are slim to none. Witness Virginia Tech. That's what happened. So all the states should revisit this issue. It's going to be a huge political battle because the media has totally brainwashed society into thinking that if somehow you have guns in schools from civilians, there's going to be shootings. And it's not true. It's never turned out that way. In all the concealed carry states, the statistics have always borne out that the utmost highest percentage of these people are good folks. They carry responsibly, they don't brandish their firearms, and they just do it well. They said the same thing about pilots, commercial pilots, when they armed them up for the flight deck program with pilots carrying guns. They said, well, if you give these guys guns, they're going to be shooting, there's going to be accidental discharges in the cockpit, people are going to be stealing their guns from them in the airport, bad guys will get those guns. Guess what? The program, is like 7 years old now? Right after 9/11, it was reinstituted, and it's one of the most successful federal programs in existence. And there's been, I think they had one AD, accidental discharge, but statistically, it's amazing how successful that program has been. And this is no different. So I'm right there with you. We need to overturn that. And in doing so, guess what? we increase the safety of our children. We don't decrease it, we increase it. Because an armed society is a polite society, and if I'm a bad guy, and I know that that school may have a teacher or two that has a gun in their possession, I'm not going there.
But public opinion thinks that you being a bad guy with a gun are, for all purposes, invincible. And right now, I think if you look at, I've talked to people who have done this kind of stuff, and at least the analyzing of how we mandate like schools, and they say right now their current plans are to limit the casualties, and it's kind of a bad way of going about it. Of let's not focus on fighting the threat. Let's just try to limit how far it can go. So you have everyone hunker down and create more targets that are clustered.
And getting back to my dangerous things video, there's a mentality from the protectionists and do-gooders in society that say, you know what, we understand what you're saying with the guns and that you can actually stop the shooter, but you're not a trained police officer. You're probably going to create more problems than you solve, and we're not really for that, and so we're going to take your gun away from you. And like Doodle said, we're just going to go ahead and let him kill as many people as he will. We'll contain it, and we'll get people who are trained to do it, and then the problem will be solved. But that's a protectionist mentality. They don't trust you with a car that goes over 55. They don't trust you with a gun that holds over 1 round, truth be told. That's how it is. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, anything else, Brad?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing on that. It's pretty laughable in my opinion that, the best thing that you can come up with is hide in a dark room and try to overpower the guy who comes in.
Exactly.
We actually, Texas, not too long ago, was visiting this issue about concealed carry on their campuses. And someone, UtahConcealedCarry.com, basically mailed them and said, hey, we had this over in our state. It's not an issue. And they basically came back and said, yeah, but Utah's so small it doesn't even matter. So your statistic doesn't matter. And so we won't even take that into consideration to allow our students to carry on. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Good points. Let's go back to Virginia Tech. Again, Virginia Tech, prior to the shooting, was lauded as the safest campus or something along those lines in the East because they had just passed into law that no, or whatever the campus had passed, that no guns are allowed on campus, even concealed carry permit holders. And then guess what? The Virginia Tech shooting happens. So that blows out of the water their arguments that somehow it will make them safer. Let's deal in realities. And in the Nutnfancy project, that's what I like doing. Let's talk realities, not fantasies, not how it would be if, pie in the sky. Let's pass a law and make all guns illegal, and then somehow nobody will have a gun. We'll all live in harmony and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. It's not going to happen. You can make guns illegal tomorrow, and it would not change violent crime in the United States. What it would do is increase it, just like it has in the United Kingdom. So I'm right there with you. Sheepdogs should be armed. And then hold those sheepdogs responsible. If a sheepdog or concealed carry permit holder does something dumb, irresponsible, then they need to be held accountable. It's just personal accountability. Again, going back to my dangerous things video.
We got Casimirix. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm from Phoenix. I'm 40 years old. I'm a big fan. I just wanted to ask
Where are you calling us from?
Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix, right on.
43-year-old fan from Phoenix.
Fantastic. And then we'll do some stuff with the chat room, because people in the chat room want to ask you some stuff. But go ahead, dude.
Oh, that was me, Christina, that called. That was my wife's account. I didn't know until you actually said it. Girls on the phone.
False alarm.
Actually, I'm calling back to ask him if he's ever going to come out of the closet as far as the real name goes. Does he think that will add any credibility to him at all? And is he not showing his real name because of his job? And I'm sorry for learning about this before I got here late. So wondering what he thinks about that, if they'll add any credibility, being that he did have a lot of since he was Lieutenant Colonel, and he makes no secret about that.
Okay, I heard that loud and clear. The question is, are you going to come out of the closet with your real name? Will it add credibility to the project? What are the plans on that? I probably won't, and there's several reasons. I mentioned this in the write-up on my channel page of why I do not do this. Primarily, it's for the security of these guys, my family, because I don't want, by and large, the Nutnfancy fans are great people. They're awesome. But there is a very small percentage out there that might be haters. They might have some ulterior motives. I do review knives and guns. These things are of value. It is open source internet, and you can do the math and say how that might create a security problem at my residence. I don't want that.
You really think that could happen? Like somebody could come after you?
Well, I don't rule it out. Let me say that, poor man. I do not rule it out. I think they'd be dumb to do it. Pretty much everybody in the family is armed and dangerous. Pretty much everybody. It would be very stupid on their part. And I just hope it won't do it. But prevention is what I advocate. I say that in concealed carry, that we try to defuse a situation even before it happens. We don't invite it. We don't wish it to happen. We don't go around with a gun looking for us to be an aid to the cops. We avoid trouble. We defuse it and talk our way out of it to the best of our ability. Our gun is our last option that we will employ to ensure our life. And the courts will hold you to that. This is kind of along those same lines. It's prevention. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. There's other reasons too. And getting to my jobs, would it lend credibility? Yeah, it probably would. If I came out of the closet and told you what I do for a living, you laugh. What do you think? Would it lend?
Word. I don't think it would need to. I don't. I think if you were to watch his videos objectively, you would probably know to the extent of what he knows what he's talking about. It doesn't, just because he's licensed or certified and whatever, it doesn't make his opinion any more valid if he's still saying the same thing after he says it. That being said, at least I love having the privacy, and I was kind of a hesitant rope into the project in the first place because, my dad did raise me with secrecy about it, and we have been ostracized in the past for gun ownership. As a kid, I had the 12-inch G.I. Joes,
yep.
And I had friends who would completely stop talking to me. And for, times it was just...
Their parents wouldn't let
crazy.
them play with tactical doodle because we had toy guns and we had G.I. Joes with weapons. So,
if
you have some people that just don't and won't ever get...
But you guys are getting so famous on YouTube. I mean, you must start getting recognized at some point.
It has happened. Actually, I don't know about him, but if you were to see me in public, you would probably not notice. I'm very low-key about it. I've been ID'd before. I try to keep people,
But you were ID'd as a pedophile, not as a Nutnfancy participant, right?
First of all, I was under 18, so, the state charges were dropped. But, you do try to keep the lives separate, and a couple of my coworkers did find out at one time, and I kind of got some weird looks. And, because they hear it, oh, yeah, this guy, he reviews guns and stuff, and immediately they think of, kids in ski masks running out into the wilderness, because that's what the public associates weapons with. They think if you own a weapon, you're a crazy dude.
And then you have to expend a lot of energy teaching them about what we've been talking about all night tonight, and that's another aspect of it.
It's really just not worth it for me, and probably for him. He gets recognized more than I do, I think, because he's the main one. But I've had guys come up to me before, and it's just a little weird.
Yeah, go
Well, I got another. I'll say something to finish the answer, but go ahead. I'm listening.
I just wanted to follow up with, have you been approached for military channels? Seems right up your alley. A gear review. I know you used to work for a tent company doing that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the direction you're heading? I mean, is that how you envision it? Where do you see the Nutnfancy project in about 5 years? You always refer to it like you have big plans, but you never really kind of led on to what that might be. So how do you envision it in 1 year from now and in 5 years from now? Where will we all be at?
Okay, man, good call. Good call. And we've had some really good callers tonight. I thank them all. Great questions. He goes, where's the Nutnfancy going? You say you got big plans. What does that mean? How I've been approached by the military channel? No. Is that something I'm seeking? Not really. I'm not seeking fame. I'm not seeking to put myself out there. Doodle will know. He knows me. He's my son. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people along these lines. I think it is an underserved market to put out quality, unbiased, non-egotistical information about these things that avoids the hype and disinformation, sometimes, misrepresented groupthink of the forums. I enjoy that. Like I said earlier in the program, I enjoy having independence in doing this. If I do ally myself with a network, military channel or something, I fear that I will lose some independence. I think that they will kind of weigh in on my subject matter and tell me what I can do. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Will it go that way? I don't rule it out, but remember what my goals are. The goals are in the Nutnfancy project primarily is to be a consumer advocate for the things I review. I say as much on my channel page. how I will achieve those goals may change over time. In other words, will you see a website? Probably. Will you see a chat room or a forum? Don't know. Will you see a television show hosted by me? Don't know. Right now I have 2 busy jobs. Nutnfancy Project is a 3rd job. I really can't make it a career at this point in my life. Maybe later when I retire from the military, maybe I can. And I don't rule out those possibilities. Getting back to the name secrecy thing too. Also, most people that are with me in my jobs, both military and my other ones, they don't know I do Nutnfancy. And if I come out and tell my name, it could create some complications for me. In that, I don't know, without divulging any secrets, it's just better that I keep it on the down low. And here's another reason I do it. I don't want to have to cash in that to be successful. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to say, hey, listen to me because these are my credentials. I've specifically avoided that in the Nutnfancy Project, letting my videos and letting my information speak for itself. And it's been successful. I don't want to cash that in and say, hey, I do this. And what I do, and probably the day will come, I will tell you exactly what I do for a living. And some guys will be very impressed. And it will kind of lead to a whole other aspect to the Nutnfancy Project that hasn't been there yet. And and honestly, it's going to be kind of a distraction because if I were to tell you, guys would say, oh, you do that? Well, I got this question, I got that question. Can you do videos on this? And I still may do that, but the time isn't right. So, you know, and I'm not anonymous. You know, it's not like me going into the forums. Some guys say, well, you know, you're anonymous. No, I'm not. You guys know more about me than probably any other YouTuber out there because I can't hide. When I make, you know, 480 videos, each one's a half hour long, or it's getting that way, you know, you're going to see what I'm about. I can't hide. I can't put on a persona. What you're seeing is 100% genuine. You know, the mistakes, the warts, all that stuff, I show that. You know, I don't care. It's genuine or it's not going. It's not getting fired out the breach at Nutnfancy Project. Word?
You realize that if you go on like Rush Limbaugh, and you're going to get very famous, dude, and everybody is going to know your name.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. And
by the way, I made the stupid mistake of giving out my address now, so I get pranked by people delivering pizzas that they say it's me ordering.
Mm-hmm.
Like last Friday, I had 8 people delivering pizzas, so they know my address. I didn't think anybody was watching.
see, but that goes to the point, poor man, of what we're talking about. If you get your address out, not just security, but harassment, loss of privacy. I like my privacy. I like to be able to disengage and relax with the family. So, and my viewers are good that way. You watch, some guys in the comment sections on my videos will say, well, what's he do for a living? And you will see my loyal TMPers swoop down on them like hawks from the sky and say, dude, chill. He doesn't want to say that. And next thing I know, the issue's dead. And thank you for that. So,
but the thing is you realize that you're going to get very famous. And
I know.
I mean, honestly, like there are people in the chat room right now saying that I should turn over my train wreck of a show to you.
Well...
Yes, 7129. You know what? You could have it, dude. I would officially like to hand it over to you.
I tell you right now, is someone who would have to set that up. We are not doing it.
There. Right there. It's bugging me.
And also, Fat Muffin Man is saying poor man should just give up on life.
Oh, that's cruel. That's not cool.
That's funny.
Hey, I will say, Poor Man has been a great venue for Nutnfancy, and to the complete surprise of many TMPers, very pro Nutnfancy. So I got nothing but love for you, man. No pun intended.
Yeah, you know, you're a yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, dude.
You're out of frame. Oh. Great questions. First off, where are we in a year?
Space.
Website. You'll see a Nutnfancy website. Doodle says, what, we'll have a space station orbiting around?
The final frontier.
We'll have a lot more subscribers. We may have national media coverage, both pro and con. I have to be kind of unspecific when I say this, because if I'm very specific, I get lots of pressure from my viewers. And they go, when's this going to happen? When's this? Kind of like the Caliber vid. See, I made mention of that, and then now everyone's like, when's it going to happen? So I'm very generic about the project. I will say this, and I said it in my spring update. I'm not even started on the Nutnfancy project. I have so many videos right here that I want to make that I wish were made, I wish were posted, gear reviews, adventures in all different climates and places we're going, specific tests, fun things we're going to do. And it's fitting them into my busy schedule and making them a reality that's so tough. He's shaking his head because he knows what I'm talking about. It's tough. But I will do it. I have a very strong work ethic. I work my butt off. And I will continue to do this and flesh out the project. So when I say it's going to be much bigger, what I'm saying is I'm trying to transmit my vision that I have up here to you. You're going to see a lot. And it's not braggadocious. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to say, what we're doing here is just going to expand. It has to, because of what we're doing. The only thing that would derail it is maybe the politics, the gun issue. I hope it doesn't go south for us. That there's some gun regulations that are passed. It makes it very difficult for me to continue to review and obtain the things that I do. So I hope that doesn't happen. So I can't be real specific on that. I apologize, but yeah, it will get bigger, I think, just by matter of course. Secondly, the Caliber video and the Steels video. One reason I'm reluctant to do the Caliber video is because of the controversy that it will generate. And I know that I'm not the end-all Caliber expert to begin with. But I just don't look forward to all the controversy and the comment sections that's going to happen when I come out with my Caliber video. And it kind of dissuades me. Which TMPers, that drives to the fact that if I know that something's going to be controversial amongst my viewers, I'm not talking about people who don't know anything about the project, I kind of put it on the back burner, as I've done with the Calibers. The AR-15 series of videos, same thing. I will do them. I'm going to plow through it, as I did with my AK versus AR-15 series of videos. I plowed through that, and I knocked it out, and it was controversial, but well accepted, I will say. And I don't avoid controversy, but then again, if I have 25 projects over here, and I know this one's going to be controversial and with a bunch of flack, sometimes I'll put it on the back burner. I'm human. The Steels video. I think there's some other knife people out there, cutlery lovers, excellent, that I respect. I admire him. I don't know if he has a Steels video on there, and I think there might be some other ones out there, and that's probably why I haven't done one yet. I know I need to do one, because I found in the Nutnfancy project, I'm not trying to act like I'm all that in a bag of chips, but I know for a fact there's been other videos out there from other people, and yet guys are still saying, hey, Nutnfancy, we want you to make this video on this subject, right or wrong.
Yeah. And
so I'm like, okay, I'll do it, and I will do a Steels video, I will do a Caliber video. It's just that I'm so backed up. Ask Mrs. Nutnfancy, Doodle. There's a lot that I'm doing. So I appreciate your patience, and most importantly, I appreciate your support.
Okay, we got Cole. And how old is Cole? Turn down your website, dude.
14.
Huh? Cole Machado. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. How old are you?
I live in Eureka, California, up in Humboldt County. And I had a question. What do you guys think about gay rights and gay marriage?
Oh, jeez.
Did you get that?
Yeah, didn't he say something about what do I think about rights and gay marriage?
Gay rights and gay marriage.
I'm gonna pass on that one, dude. It really doesn't have anything to do with the Nutnfancy project. I will say that there are a lot of channels that do address that. There's some good channels that address that issue, both pro and con. I recommend you go look them up on YouTube. But for our venue, dude, we're about the gear, about the adventures, about protecting freedoms. I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah. And anyway, Cole, what prompted you to even ask the question? I'm curious.
Well, I think that everyone deserves to have the ethical legal rights, and I felt that it was adopted on that.
Right on. Well, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
I think
You know, if you call LuvChat back on a different night, I bet you have some guests that could answer that question a lot better than me.
Absolutely.
He has some very interesting guests and some outstanding YouTubers on the LuvChat show pretty much every week, and I guarantee you they could give a lot more insight and interesting responses to that question than I could.
Hey, let me before you go, there's a lot of people in the chat room that
Go ahead.
have some questions for you.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man. Poor man sucks ass. You know what? I am giving this show to Nutnfancy. Dude, it is your show.
Oh, you know, TMPers, please be respectful to Poor Man. He is our host tonight, and we thank him for that. So,
Without him, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't set this up. It's too much.
True statement.
He wouldn't. Mrs. wouldn't. Suspect wouldn't do it.
I'm
Poor
still
man's
trying
got
to
it.
teach Mrs. Nutnfancy how to use a mouse.
You know what? The thing about chat rooms is, like, when I used to be on the radio in LA, I had #1 shows and whatnot, and I would get one negative comment, and I get 55 million positive ones and one negative one. I'd be thinking, oh my God, do I suck, or this or that. When you deal with a chat room on the internet, dude, you get bombarded so many times. It's like, you know, it doesn't even faze you after a while. I think it's funny.
You just blow it off, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, chat rooms should be called hate rooms. I should call it the hate room. The LuvChat. Of course, we're called LuvChat, the LuvChat hate room. Anyway, but somebody wants to know what state you live in. I don't think you're going to tell them that, right?
No. I will say this. The states I tromp around in most and that you've seen in video, Arizona, Idaho, Utah, parts of California, and Wyoming.
Somebody wanted to know about the New World Order. I've seen that.
We don't do New World Order here, sorry.
Okay, what's your opinion on the 357 SIG round?
Outstanding. That is something I'm interested in. I can weigh in. I can tell you for a fact, I've talked to my law enforcement brethren that are shooting that round. Up in Northern California, several PDs and sheriff's departments use it. It has very good stopping power, the 357 SIG round. They've shot perps with it, and they've been very impressed with how it's performed. The only downside is it's very, very expensive. And as such, PDs have a really hard time training with it because it's just an expensive round, much more so than 9mm, even more so than 40. That's a downside. And so I think some PDs are actually considering converting from it just for its cost, especially as PDs are getting, and I say PDs, police departments, as their funding gets cut just like everywhere. They have to train just like everyone else. And, you know, when a box of 50 rounds costs $25 for a police department, and that's their cost, training goes down and the officer's proficiency with that gun suffers. But the round itself, outstanding. A little more blast, actually a lot more blast, and a little bit more recoil.
Maxpedition gear, that's been in there a lot. They want to know what you think about Maxpedition gear.
Good question. I think it's a little bit overhyped, is what I think. Maxpedition is very expensive for what you get, I think, and they have some good gear. I don't own any though, because I don't know if it's super high value gear. Again, high value means I get a lot for the money that I've put in it. So I don't have anything against it. I think it's really good gear if you can afford it. Their packs, though, one thing I do not like about Maxpedition packs is they come out from the back so deep. I think a pack should stay very close to your backside and conform as much as you can. I don't like packs that come out horizontally and just keep building that way. It seems like all the Maxpedition packs, not all of them, but some of them, come out and they stack very deep. And so what you have is when you're going through brush and undergrowth is you have this huge backpack that's sticking out there and you're banging into it, and it's not low profile. They're not low profile packs. By way of contrast, I think Camelback makes some outstanding backpacks, and they are very high speed and very low profile and very tactical. And by tactical, I mean they use materials that are very durable and won't shred under hard use. So there you have it.
Somebody in there, 8969, said, not only should I quit, but I'm Obama's robot.
Obama's robots.
And then somebody else says you want to kick Osama bin Laden's ass.
Well, yeah, it takes